Welcome, Internet, to another educated discussion. I'm Elmo, alongside
Felipe.
And we are at Felipe's house, and we're going to be discussing what exactly?
We're going to be predicting the Game Awards winners.
All 23 awards?
I think that's what we have, but we cut out a couple things that we have no say in at all.
As someone who has not played VR nominees, I think that goes for other categories we're going to be discussing as well.
Yeah, but like with VR, we can guess. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's part of our thing. We can make an educated guess on it, and
we'll have an educated discussion.
Of course.
Now, we should say that these are predictions, correct?
Yeah, we're predicting who we think is going to win, not our own personal winners in each category.
Even though I'm sure some of our personal preferences will create a bias in spots.
Yeah. But I can look past that and tell you an honest description of who I think will win over who I think should.
I do agree that you think you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know you are just as biased as I might be sometimes. So we will see if the truth is revealed. Because anything I say is the truth. Because I'm actually going to be unbiased here.
Okay.
That's my plan.
I will believe it when I see it.
I will believe it when I hear you.
Okay.
Because I don't know yet.
Sounds good.
Now, when's the Game Awards? Do you remember? It's the 10th of December.
Yes.
So, we got to get this episode out.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
So I was trying to record it earlier.
All right. Well, let's get into the first award then.
Okay.
All right. What are we starting with?
Best debut game.
The best debut. So, of our best debut, I think it would be best if we, read the descriptions of the awards.
Okay.
That way we have a better... I think it makes us... It gives a little bit of clarity on what exactly these awards even are. Because there are weird ones like best audio design and everything.
Right.
Anyway, best debut game.
All right, read the description.
For the best debut game created by a new independent studio.
Okay.
The nominees include Carry On, Mortal Shell, Raji, an ancient epic, Roki, and Phasmophobia.
All right.
Very different genres.
Yeah. Have you played any of these?
I've seen video of 2.
Okay. So you haven't played any of them. I have not either.
You seen video?
I have seen video for 3. I've seen Mortal Shell. I've seen a little bit of Rogi. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. And then I've seen some Phasmophobia.
Phasmophobia has been the one I've seen the most of.
Yeah, and because of that, I think that's going to win.
Yeah. Because
as much as exciting and enticing Mortal Shell looked, I really wanted to give that a shot, but it just didn't work out for me this year. But I'll give it a shot eventually.
But I'd say when it comes to a best debut, I made the most impact upon its arrival.
Yep.
Jinx. It's got to be Phasmophobia.
Yeah. That's a solid guess.
I don't think there's any other award we will go as agreeable on.
Oh no, there's a couple of them. I mean, Game of the Year, we got this.
Okay.
All right, so this next one, I don't know all of these people, but this is for Content Creator of the Year. Now, there is a couple of these people that I'm not familiar with, but I've still heard of.
Okay.
In the gaming sphere that I follow. Do you recognize any of these?
Not a one. I want to say I've heard the name Alana Pierce, but that may just be one of us, a former student in the yearbook or something.
So we got Alana Pierce, we got Nick Merckx, we got Tim the Tap Man, J.N. Lopez, and Valkyrie.
Valkyrie.
You think it's pronounced Valkyrie?
Valkyrie. It's got to be Valkyrie.
It really comes down to just 2 of these people, and I'm sure the reason these guys were chosen was because they've done great work. However, the only people that I for sure recognize that have had an impact is going to be Alana Pierce and Tim the Tap Man. I personally want Alana Pierce to win because she is in a lot of stuff that I listen to, but I can also see Tim the Tap Man winning as well.
No. Look at how bald he is. That's not how he can't even create hair. How's he going to create content?
You know what? To keep this agreement working, yeah. You're right. He's too bald to win, so Alana Pierce will win.
No. Listen, as someone who knows none of these people,
okay,
I've
heard Alana.
I'm the most unbiased.
Okay,
so if I'm going off of these 5 pictures they put, you're saying I've heard Alana. Where would that have happened?
She's everywhere.
Everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She's been on every podcast.
Okay. If I'm these people choosing these winners, people like go the representation route, and no, we do have what seems to be a redhead here. Ironically, without any red on his head.
Right.
We got to go Valkyrie.
You think Valkyrie?
I think Valkyrie. Look at that name.
That's
a cool name. That's a nice spin.
I'm in agreement with you there.
Okay. So my prediction based off of no knowledge, and I want to see
your educated guess.
My educated guess will be
with
Valkyrie.
no education.
Hey, I know women and I know men.
Okay.
And I would say that's more educated than most closed-minded people.
Okay. Sounds good.
Valkyrie.
All right. So
if
I say
Valkyrie
Alana,
wins,
you say Valkyrie.
What do I get? Do I get like a... I want a text from you.
We will both watch her content and leave comments and like it. Because that's what they deserve.
Okay. That's...
And then if Alana wins...
That's more noble than I
will subscribe to
her
to do her podcast.
Okay.
How about that? And then that way you get to learn who she is.
Fine.
Because if she won, then you gotta figure out.
No, just to screw it up. No, I'm gonna go with Tin the Tap Man.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that's who I'm subscribing to. Anyway, all right. Next award would be Best Multiplayer for outstanding online multiplayer gameplay and design, including co-op and massively multiplayer experiences, irrespective of game genre or platform.
Okay,
it's a lot of words.
Yeah, the nominees are Animal Crossings, Among Us, Call of Duty Warzone, Fall Guys, and Valorant. What do you think?
It's not Animal Crossing.
No, it's not.
One of the most garbage ways to go about anything multiplayer.
Correct.
And I'll be honest, it's I hate that I've become that person a little bit, so I try to keep it in perspective. Mm-hmm. But as a teacher, God, I swear, they keep trying to play Among Us in the middle of me teaching, and it's very frustrating.
Okay.
Because I get it, you're trying to have fun, but that's a game that requires a lot more attention than I'm playing Doodle Jump on my phone. You are not giving me any of your respect
right
when you're playing Among Us in the middle of class. So and no other selection among these 5 has had the staying power of Among Us in my classroom or in my school. Okay. So Call of Duty, they're playing it, but it's not coming up in discussion.
The thing is,
Fall Guys was.
Here's where I think I agree with you with Among Us. It's taking over and stuff. Mm-hmm. However, that's also up for best mobile game. They ain't playing that on a console in your classroom, So I think if Among Us wins something, it's going to be mobile game. But we'll get to that later. Mm-hmm. For this, I think Warzone's got it. As sad as that sounds.
I mean, I would just say when it comes to people playing games cooperatively, Among Us is the one.
Well, they're not playing cooperatively though.
There's some cooperation in there.
Okay, so you say Among Us, I say Call of Duty. Mm-hmm. All right.
We should have a point system when this happens.
Yeah,
we should be writing down our picks. Well, it's in our head.
Yeah, it's in our head.
Anyway, next we have the most eloquently designed award, Best Sports/Racing for the best traditional and non-traditional sports and racing game, including Dirt 5, F1 2020, FIFA 21, NBA 2K21, and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. Nice of them to all include numbers.
Oh yeah.
So to make it as as fair as possible.
Sure.
Because these are totally different games.
This is a dumb category. They should have sports in one thing and then racing in the other. Mm-hmm. To combine them, just it kind of.
You want a 5-hour show. That's what. You want the Game Awards to go for 5 hours. No. I get what you're saying for sure. There's probably a more eloquent way to go about it.
But with a lot of these awards, well, who knows this year? Since it is a 4-hour show, they might give each one a time of day. Usually for stuff like this, it's a quick and best sports game last year was FIFA.
To be fair, game of the year, there's a lot of different genres in there, so.
Yeah, but that's a little different.
So, well, what's the winner?
I think Tony Hawk's got this.
That seems too easy. And it just doesn't, in my head, match these at all. And it's a remake.
I think it's my own personal winner for this.
Sure. Same
However, there's no denying the popularity that NBA has, that 2K has. But are those people that are playing these games, are they the ones really watching these awards? The people that are playing 2K?
I mean, are we picking? Are the Game Awards people picking their winners based on
There's votes.
who's
submitted,
our audience?
and then there's the
well, there's a fan one, right? And
there's
then,
fans voting, so you can see the results on that too. But then there's also the critics, and then are the critics really like the people that we listen to? Are they really talking about how great NBA is, or were they talking about how awesome it was to come back to Tony Hawk?
they were.
Exactly. I heard great things about Dirt 5, but nah. And I know FIFA's huge in Europe, but again, Game Awards, America, I feel like Tony Hawk got this.
And then we're doing this for the sake of discussion, but it's a remake. Like, it's already a known quantity.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, these are all sequels.
But it's a remake of something we haven't had. We had Dirt 4 freaking last year. Or the
I
year
played
before.
Dirt 3 on my PS3.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
No,
all these other games are annualized, whereas Tony Hawk is a remake from something that was great in the past, and then they just flipped it on its head and did it even better in the future. And we haven't gotten a skateboarding game in a while, like a good one. So
It's the best, though?
out of these,
I'm saying
five,
saying
yes.
for discussion's sake.
Yes.
It's the best.
Mhm.
I agree. But critically, is it... And
I think it is critically as well.
when I go to work, they're not talking about Tony Hawk. They're talking about NBA.
Yeah, but these guys at work, they ain't gonna be watching the Game Awards.
It's surprisingly unpopular, like going this hard and deep on video games. Like at least, and again, I'm in one school in one county in one
Right.
state in one country. But like I mentioned, Final Fantasy, they don't know what the heck that is. Like I'll get one kid like, I think I heard of that. Like it's interesting to me.
That's the MMO, right?
It's interesting to me how big gaming has become.
Yeah.
Yet it hasn't hit like the I don't know if zeitgeist is the right word, but
Hey man, baby steps.
We're taking some. I just would imagine at this point, like
Yeah.
they think they're so clever for liking Among Us, but that game released like 3 years ago.
Right. Well, you know, it just got big this year.
Yeah. No, I understand. It's just they seem to just be. I think I overestimate how much reach sometimes this genre has,
Right.
which
It's
is
getting
annoying.
there. It's getting there.
Anyway,
All right, for this next category, this is one I'm sure none of us have played any of these. However, just again based on the zeitgeist and everyone talking, I think I can.
it's another weird selection.
Oh yeah,
like,
go ahead.
one of
yeah,
these
read that.
doesn't
So this
matter.
is a best a simulation or strategy.
Best game focused on real-time or turn-based simulation or strategy gameplay, irrespective of platform.
Okay. Nominees would be Crusader Kings 3, Desperados 3, Gears Tactics 3. No, just the first one. Microsoft Flight Simulator, and then XCOM Chimera Squad.
May I
With
just
some kind of Chimera Squad.
May I just say I really enjoy saying the word squad.
Okay.
There's something about Chimera Squad that just sounds cool to me.
Oh, that's a cool name.
I think it's because, and I've never watched it. I think at some point, like I overheard on the TV, like Digimon Data Squad's theme song or something weird, and it just something about the
Alright.
word squad. I'm just like, that sounds cool. So I'm not picking Chimera Squad, but if it's a good number 2. I also have liked XCOM in the past, but who are you thinking is the winner?
Come on, Microsoft Flight Simulator's got this in the bag.
It doesn't match what these other 4 are doing.
I
understand
know it's
that's
the
the
one
category.
oddball out from these other options,
Mhm.
but I think that's why it's going to win.
Yeah, I've seen the most footage of Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Most
I would be
buzz.
most intrigued to play Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like the strategy games myself too much.
I
Very
don't-
often, every now and then. one
As a
comes
big
along.
Fire Emblem fan, I know I'm different here,
Right,
but none of these 4
More ways
have
than one.
drawn me in.
Okay.
Aside from, the 5th one here, Microsoft Flight Simulator.
okay, that's the one then.
That's the one.
Moving on.
Game Awards leaked. We just leaked him. We leaking the awards all over.
Oh, we
we
figured
just
out who won.
everyone just listening.
Okay.
I know. Have we agreed on all? No, Valkyrie was the censored.
Oh, boy.
Anyway, best family for the best game appropriate for family play, irrespective of genre or platform.
All right, we're looking at Animal Crossing's New Horizons, Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout, Mario Kart Live Home Circuit, Minecraft Dungeons, and Paper Mario: The Origami King. There's a lot of subtitles.
I've
What is it
played
called?
many of these, and but I have to guess. I guess I have to think of it from a family category or from a family perspective. So it's not Crash.
No, it's not Crash.
No.
It's not. I don't think enough people were able to purchase Mario Kart Live. As awesome as that game looks.
I also think it's not that it's a one. There's some serious limitations to what that could be in the future if they were to build upon it. That right now I don't think it's the best family like that. You can't do multiplayer without a second.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, see, I don't know.
And it's hard to find. Like it's not readily available. Like it's just there's too many hoops to jump through. I've seen some really cool like people are like making their own custom levels, but they're like printing out. Or apparently you can even like just with Sharpie color some of the cardboard like just on a sheet of paper.
Oh no!
And like it'll still detect it and everything. Like, I've seen some really cool creative ways to use this game.
Gotcha.
But it requires a real creative mind, and I just don't think there's enough stock out there to enforce it.
Yeah, I think Animal Crossing's got this easily.
Yeah. I'd want to say Fall Guys.
Look at this agreement. We better enjoy it while we have it.
Yeah, I would want to say like.
I would say Fall Guys too, but now Animal Crossing is on a different level. Like there's no other. Again, I work at a Best Buy, so I see what sells and I see who's buying it and how many copies are buying it and how many Switches are buying it. And Animal Crossing is just ridiculous.
I mean, Mario's on the Paper Mario is on the Switch. So is Minecraft Dungeon.
It sure is. All right, next. There's no point just because of that. Animal Crossing got this.
Yeah.
You agree? Okay, good. All right. Best fighting game. Go ahead and read that description.
For the best game designed primarily around head-to-head combat. Yeah. The way they phrase that makes me think like, oh, they're going to headbutt a lot. Like, they get really specific. This is a weird one also because it's not One Punch Man. I've heard nothing good about that, so I don't know.
I don't know why that's in here.
I'm not aware enough of the final. Oh, I didn't even read the options. They include Grand Blue Fantasy versus Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate, Street Fighter 5 Champion Edition, One Punch Man, a hero nobody knows, and Under Night
game nobody knows.
Under Night in Birth EXE Late CL-R.
Jesus Christ!
I want that to win just to hear it. I want the guy who made that title to that was me.
It's pronounced Clur.
Just yells it from the crowd. Well, there won't be a crowd.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, although it's kind of a cop out because technically the game came out last year. But this is the Ultimate Edition. I think Mortal Kombat's got this.
It's too bad about Street Fighter. I think that I wish it was a better contender. But you're immediately cutting out Grand Blue Fantasy?
I haven't even heard of that.
Okay. Have you ever seen the art for those Guilty Gear games? Like they do the 2D, 3D kind of mix?
Yeah.
It does that, and it looks fabulous.
Oh, I bet.
It's one of those. And the game still seems to be getting support. I saw like a season pass.
So it's similar recently. To like Fighters? Like where it's 2D, but
it's
clearly 3D as well.
And it seems like they've got like an RPG mode, but it feels wrong to pick Mortal Kombat here just because what are we calling it the winner here for? Like
it didn't better come up, of these 5 options. Terrible options.
It being here just seems odd to me.
That's why I said it too.
So we're counting 2018 content as 2020 winner content.
Was it 2018?
Maybe 2019. But either way, we're counting 2019. We're counting previous years of content as this year's content. Is correct.
Yeah, because
then that's best ongoing.
But that's not enough. We're going off of the games they provided.
Then it is Mortal Kombat.
How they chose to get to these games. Unfortunately, that's not up to us. Mm-hmm. But this is the options that were presented, and that's what we're going to vote against. Mortal Kombat's got this.
From what I've seen, if we were being a little more selective with this Mortal Kombat choice, I'd say Grand Blue. But based on a complete package, Mortal Kombat is the winner. It seems odd to be in here alongside Street Fighter, I would say.
Yeah.
That this seems like they're miscategorized. But it's got Melina, so whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure you're happy. So,
and I'm not one of those weird people who is really toxic to Ed Boon on Twitter about Melina. I have never tweeted at him or complained online about a lack of Melina. No, I've complained to you.
Yeah,
But never been toxic.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right, next category. we got best role playing.
And you didn't like this category because
Literally,
it's,
role playing is any game ever. So,
well, it's
just about.
it's for the best game designed with rich player character customization and progression, including massively multiplayer experiences.
Okay.
Yet are any of these multiplayer? Like I mean, Genshin Impact is.
Is it? Yeah.
Wasteland,
I have that downloaded.
maybe.
I gotta play that.
Well, our options.
So,
tell us our options.
Final Fantasy VII Remake. We got Genshin Impact, Persona 5 Royal. No, Royal.
I always called it Royal. You corrected me on
Yeah,
it being Royal.
Yeah, you're
Royal.
right. Wasteland 3 and Yakuza Like a Dragon.
Okay, I've played 3 of these and have seen a lot of one of them. So unfortunately, poor Wasteland 3 is not going to get any due here from us. Have you played any of these other than Final Fantasy?
No, but I do. Again, I do listen and I do hear the impact they've made. The impact, Genshin. So it would really come down to those two, I think.
You don't think Persona?
No.
I had such a grin on my face going through the new like end game content they added.
Okay.
In a way that Genshin hasn't made me smile.
Yeah, and I guess going back to our previous one, the way I see Persona 5, again, an older game, just re-released with some new content.
And Final Fantasy is like technically,
yeah, but that's
in spirit.
Yeah,
but Persona 5 is that Mortal Kombat.
So who do you think wins?
I think it's Final Fantasy.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. That game got the most buzz. I wouldn't say it's the best game, even though I haven't played. I can tell you, there's other better games. But
I've played Genshin, and Genshin does not run well enough on a PlayStation 4.
Okay.
To merit a number 1 spot, I would say.
Yeah, I think that's what's gonna hold that back for sure.
It's definitely like maybe in the future that game will be like
I hear good things about Yakuza too.
I do as well, but apparently it wasn't until like the last 9 or so months before that game was officially done that they decided to even make it an RPG. So a lot of the combat, while good, is there's a lot of work that could have been done on it.
Okay.
Because again, it was like an April Fool's Day joke they did, where it's like, oh, Yakuza's an RPG, but people liked the idea so much that they ended up saying, let's just do it. And that meant it was a little less time boiling.
Yeah, so it wasn't as in depth as people would like.
Okay. But when it comes to Final Fantasy, that materia system, I don't know how much you played with it when you.
Yeah, I told you I wasn't as good. You told me that there's some craziness that you can do and get really in depth. Yeah, I just used basic borderline. You're my firepower.
I did customize a lot more. I also had the background knowledge from previous
Final Fantasy which 7. I lacked.
So I would say the real order here is Persona 5 as our number 2, and Final Fantasy as the winner. Okay. Even though we're just deciding winner, but I don't think Genshin's was worthy of that 2 spot just yet.
Gotcha.
Even though I do like me some Genshin Impact.
I gotta get on it. Next, we got Best Action.
Now, is this where we skipped? Because there's a Best Action and Adventure as well.
You're right. So, Best Action and Adventure.
Yeah, let's do Best Action and Adventure first. So, for the Best Action Adventure game, combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving.
What are the nominees?
The nominees include Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Ghost of Tsushima, Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I always forget how weird that title is.
Yeah.
And The Last of Us Part 2. This just got a little harder.
That's a good list.
Yeah.
Dang.
Okay.
It's not gonna.
It's not
as sad as it kills me. It won't be Last of Us.
Really, I'm ready to fight for Last of Us here.
Really?
I was ready to bash it to start just to get you in the right frame of mind, but apparently I don't need to.
I mean, I personally would choose Last of Us, but I don't think it's gonna win. Okay. That's the thing. Come on. God, that game was so good.
I think Star Wars was too buggy at the start for many people to win here.
Yeah. Thankfully, I didn't run into too many bugs.
I played it way after everyone else.
Yeah.
I think I beat the game in March.
It won't be Ori. It's not enough. That game was for sure buggy. That Ori. Really. I mean, now it runs flawlessly on the X, but.
Yeah, Spider-Man, Ghosts, Valhalla.
It's gonna be either. Valhalla though. I haven't played Valhalla. It's gonna be either Ghosts.
You played Odyssey. You played a lot of Odyssey.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine it diverts too much from there.
Yeah.
And you played Origins, right?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. It's gonna either be Ghosts because I think they have Ghosts in a lot of categories.
You went into this saying it's not going to win anything, so this is
Well,
interesting.
remember when I had I forgot this was a category.
Mhm.
So because like it needs to win something, I think it's gonna win this one.
Okay, so not Miles.
No.
Okay, and so I guess our debate here should be Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima, and we both played both of those.
Yeah, and to me, Last of Us is the better one. Game and would better fit this title, but I don't think it's gonna win because honestly, Last of Us is gonna sweep this award show.
Maybe.
And I think and I think that to give some recognition to Ghost, I think it's gonna win this one.
I think there should be a little integrity here, and if we're looking at the best action and adventure, my problems with Last of Us in action is multiplied in Ghost of Tsushima. So I say Last of Us wins this.
All right.
And you know,
I would love to be wrong here. I would love to. I won't.
I mean, you like both of these.
Yeah.
Either way, it's good. Either one wins.
Okay.
Because unfortunately, I think Last of Us is just going to be a second place in a lot of these categories.
You're ultimately wrong. But anyways, all right. So that's that one. Now we're gonna move on to the other one that I got confused with. This is best action.
Best action.
Now read that one because obviously part of that was in the last category.
For the best game in the action genre, focused primarily on combat. So it doesn't seem like adventure or traversal is as important, even though Doom Eternal has a lot of that. Anyway, our category nominees include Doom Eternal, Hades, Half-Life Alyx, Neo 2, Streets of Rage 4.
All right, so here's another thing that I want to acknowledge here. Doom is in a lot of categories here. No one's talking about Doom. If Doom wins anything, and I don't think it will, if it does, it's going to be this. That's the only one it could possibly have a chance to win for anything that they're up for. However, I could also see it going towards Hades because I heard the combat in that is really good.
Hades. I've played Streets of Rage, and I've played the previous Doom and Hades. There was, and this is a discussion for later, but it should be the Hades is the winner here.
Personally, or do you think they actually win?
I think if they're having the integrity these awards deserve,
right,
Hades is the winner.
I'm gonna agree that says that Hades is also the winner here, but like I said, I feel like they're trying hard to give something to Doom, and I could definitely not be surprised that Doom gets it. So for the sake of having something different and racking up points to see who wins, I'll say Doom.
Is that how awards should work, though? I'm not saying
it's not, but that's the way they've been proven to work in the past.
I think if we're gonna do it right, is Hades.
I agree, but I'm gonna choose who I think they're gonna give it to, and I'll say Doom.
You'll notice the last winner was, who did you pick? You picked Ghosts.
I picked Ghosts.
Is that in Game of the Year?
Yeah,
and so is Last of Us, and those are the ones we picked.
Right.
Final Fantasy best role playing game. That was our pick. Doom is in the best Game of the Year category as well, right? Alongside Hades. Hades eclipses Doom Eternal in my opinion. So it's got to be Hades here. Hades has better action than Doom Eternal. I'm ready for the tweets from some people. But,
all the tweets. Everyone knows where to follow.
We need
we always tag. We're gonna do it.
We need a Twitter, right?
God. Yeah, you might as well.
Yeah.
We can start spamming.
Ever discussed
page.
that at all?
Yeah. All right. So our next category is innovation and accessibility.
Okay. Recognizing software and or hardware that is pushing the medium forward by adding features, technology, and content to help games be played and enjoyed by an even wider audience. As someone who is only played one of these, I think it's the same for you. You said this was a clear winner.
Oh, by far.
So, Last of Us.
Last of Us got this.
We should mention, though, what is in there. I don't know if you ever... I remember we did a Last of Us podcast. You said you might take a look.
I'll be going into it by
options.
memory. I did see the walkthrough, the breakdown of the accessibility options, so I won't probably say them all perfect, but there's, options to... You can... I mean, God, I don't know if I can really explain it well, but they pretty much highlight your character a solid color. Like, if you're really, colorblind, I believe. and they highlight certain objects that you would normally have to look for, so you can find it easier.
There's way you can edit the
subtitle size.
Yeah, and the value of of resources you get.
Yeah, that too.
You can make it so as long as you're laying down, you cannot be seen at all, which I'm sure looks hilarious in some spots. And there's even one shot, you kill everyone.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
For someone who's just bad at games, there's options.
Bad at games, hearing impaired, sight impaired. Huh?
Just people who
can't they're bad at games.
Well, I don't know. What if you got one hand?
That's the thing. That's a different story.
But that's the accessibility.
Right, and that's, I'm glad that games are finally kind of getting to that point where they're making that a priority. And honestly, as great as I've heard about other stuff these other games have done too. I mean, even like Grounded has that arachnophobia setting too. Like if you're afraid of spiders, you won't see a spider when you're fighting them. So it's like that's another step in a different direction there. But when it comes to accessibility, people playing and all the options, Last of Us got this. There's by a mile.
I know there's no debate, but I think it deserves its due by us mentioning what it's actually doing.
Right.
In being an innovator in accessibility.
Yep. All right. So for the next one, we got Best VR
/AR,
yes,
which is for the best game experience playable in virtual or augmented reality, irrespective of platform.
Although you have a VR, and I don't, none of us have played any of these games.
I bought one off of Amazon, and it's shipping.
Squadrons.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I want to be in the next one. That's all. Just once in my life.
Yeah, well, apparently that's how many times you play it once.
I was going to get Iron Man because it was like on sale. And I'm like, I saw that, so after work I was going to buy it. And then it wasn't on Amazon anymore. Whatever. I got enough games, I don't need to rush.
The one that's, I think, is going to win, just based on what I've heard, is going to be Half-Life.
I've also heard, though, that for it being a new Half-Life game, it's not as innovative as you would expect a Half-Life game to be. But you've played Dreams.
Yeah, I'm not in VR.
You could probably imagine what that's like. You don't think it's worthy of mention here?
It would probably be really cool. I just have to see if it's all the levels or if it's just certain ones. That'll be something neat. I mean, you'll definitely have variety there for sure.
I'm giving you the opportunity to sell me on Dreams, and it seems like you're not going to even try.
That's a tough one to sell on, and that could be
again. You've not played in VR, so
I've not played it in VR.
I wanted to give it a chance. But,
I gotcha,
because I agree with you. It's Half-Life.
Yeah.
So
okay,
you will not convince me otherwise.
Wait, did we?
There's a Walking Dead game.
Hold on, did we even say
we didn't because there's a Walking Dead game.
Yeah.
What is this?
So Dreams, Half-Life, Iron Man, Squadrons, and Walking Dead. Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners.
What the heck is that?
I heard it was a Walking Dead game. There you go. I heard it was good.
They're doing those still?
Yeah. It's not based on
After that Daryl game, they're like, yeah, we need another game.
Daryl being
not
Death
PT, not Death Stranding. No, there was one where you were like Daryl before he met up with Rick and everybody.
Yeah.
I want to say it's an early...
Oh, yeah. That game was terrible from what I heard. Mm-hmm. Anyways, so yeah, Half-Life's got that.
Okay.
All right, next category.
I think this one, you want to read it?
Sure. Best community support.
Recognizing a game for outstanding community support, transparency, and responsiveness, inclusive of social media activity and game updates/patches.
Okay, so companies pretty much...
go over these, because I want to read the other category that goes along with this, because I'm confused on the awards now. Because the last bit there with updates and patches made me think, well, why isn't it the ongoing? So, you talk for a second.
So, it's going to be Apex, Destiny 2, Fall Guys, Fortnite, No Man's Sky, and Valorant. I think what you're getting confused with is there's the overall quality of a game that's ongoing. Mm-hmm. That's what that category is for. But this one specifically is companies taking feedback, interacting with their fan base, and making necessary changes. So pretty much what company is really taking the time and listening to people and talking with them. I think that's what ultimately it means. Again, this also applies
I'm making a face.
Okay.
Anyway, but continue.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the categories are very similar, as we saw already: action and action adventure, and then, but it's the description that really separates it.
I wish I remembered previous year's winners because I feel like that would impact the psychology of some of these choices. Or for the
I'm
winner.
pretty sure for community support. Oh wait, no, it was ongoing Destiny 2 one last year.
Okay, because I was thinking there's two here that I want to pick.
Okay,
based on what you said.
Okay, what do you got?
Maybe you can convince me to go one way or another, but Destiny 2 or No Man's Sky. I would say, especially with No Man's Sky, they are listening to feedback more than the others.
I have yet to see any major news from No Man's Sky to where I heard them interacting enough with people. I just heard they keep supporting it, and they keep releasing stuff, and you know, I feel like they got the next gen version out soon or something too. They announced, but from what I heard when it comes to interaction, this year specifically, which is the year that the Game Awards are taking place, it's Fall Guys. That community, the manager, whatever, the social media manager for them was like on fire this year.
Okay. I know they're in
talking
season
with
2
people,
now.
always sharing fan art, you know, all that stuff. Whereas No Man's Sky is as fantastic as the support has been for.
I mean, then Arby's should win. They're the ones with. Anyway, I'm being annoying there, but. If we're just saying, oh, they're the best, this is the best guy in charge of the Twitter.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Well, that's what this category is. Community support.
Then I will align with you.
So you want to?
And I will say Fall Guys.
Okay. Yeah, Fall Guys wins this. All right. That's the easy one. Next, best mobile game
is one of the best categories for this discussion that we're about to have. Did you know Genshin Impact is a mobile game?
Yes, I did.
I've never seen it being played.
No.
Mobilely or mobile?
I think it got popular on the consoles.
Apparently, though, it seems to run decently on mobile. Like it's just that I guess I should look at some footage of that, but that just astounds me. Knowing what that game is,
right,
and having played it. So, but you said Fall. Sorry, God, Among Us.
Yeah, Among Us will win this.
It's not Pokemon Troze Cafe Mix.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Legends
we're dropping the ball here. We got to read who's the people. So, Among Us, Call of Duty Mobile, Genshin Impact, Legends of Runeterra, and Pokemon Cafe Mix. I love the art of that Cafe Mix.
It's cool.
It's great.
That's what.
I never even heard of Legends of Runeterra, but I don't play on mobile too often. But yeah, Among Us has got this in the bag. What you think?
Yeah. The idea that Genshin Impact can run on a phone and do it admirably makes me think it probably, in theory, deserves the win. But if we're talking about cultural impact,
yeah,
not Genshin Impact, but cultural impact, Among Us.
Okay. Best indie game.
For outstanding creative and technical achievement in a game made outside the traditional publisher system.
We got Carry On, Fall Guys again, Hades again, Spelunky 2, and Spiritfarer. This is a toss-up between Fall Guys and Hades.
If we're talking about outstanding creative and technical achievement,
it's going to be Hades.
A roguelike versus Wipeout is a good Wipeout, but as someone who does not care about roguelikes, this made me not only want to play it, but want to complete it. And that is not something I would ever have thought I would say about.
Maybe one year you'll beat Hades for the first time.
I beat Hades several times. Anyway.
Yeah, Hades got this.
Hades.
I can also see...
these awards are for Hades.
I can see Fall Guys winning as well, but no, I think Hades has got this.
I almost think they have such a back catalog that I enjoy that it seems weird still calling them an indie. Just because of notoriety's sake, but
yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, there's no best AAA game, is there?
No, I mean I guess not.
All right, so next category is not on the Game Awards website.
Oh, really?
No, it's just we probably think we put anyway. Yes, it is. There's one though. We'll have to see which one that is, but.
All right, so Games for Impact.
Oh, it's the best ongoing. That's the one. Remember, we skipped a number because it wasn't on the Twitter, you said, okay. But it is on here.
Okay.
So best ongoing is on the website, but you didn't have the picture.
Gotcha. All right, we'll do that after this.
Okay.
So games for impact.
Games for impact. For a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message.
That's it?
Nominees are Through the Darkest of Times, Tell Me Why, Spiritfarer, Kentucky Route Zero TV Edition, and If Found.
Okay. Have you played any of these?
I wanted to play Tell Me Why, but I have played Kentucky Route Zero. What is your knowledge here?
I've not played any of these. The only one I've heard about at all was If Found and Tell Me Why.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think, and I've not completed Kentucky Route Zero, but from what information I've gathered, it seems to be focusing on a more of like if we're just talking about the different issues being discussed, because Tell Me Why seems to be more gender focused, and Kentucky Route Zero is more like capitalism focused. And there's probably someone listening who is more aware of that game than I am, and
there's more to it
like,
than
how dare you? It's more than that, but
it's capitalism and socialism.
I'd say in the climate we're in, I would want to say Tell Me Why, but I think the winner should be Kentucky Route Zero because of the way in which they go about making their statement. From what I've heard, and from what I've played.
I don't know enough about these, unfortunately, to have a solid guess. I'm not have too much education for this educated guess. I will say Tell Me Why because that's the only one I really know about.
I always think of it in sync. Tell Me Why.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah. And I love the studio, of course. Makers of Life is Strange. Don't Nod. I mean, all their stuff has been fantastic.
Remember Me? You liked Remember Me?
That's the one with the chick? I don't think I played that one.
Most of the games. Anyway. They are. It was like a 360 PS3 era kind of game.
Yeah, it was supposed to be PS exclusive, and then it got I
think Life is Strange is like weirdly tied in somehow.
Yeah,
but I can't.
Well, anyways, I love Life is Strange 1, 2, and then the Chloe spinoff, and then Captain Spirit.
You like Chloe? That's where we diverge.
Yeah. Chloe's great. No, she's not. But she had a good. Anyways, it does seem a little. It does seem a little ham-fisted the way they're going about it, and Tell Me Why. The issues is usually a little bit more subtle with certain things. Like in Life is Strange 2, they were they were clearly Mexican protagonists, but they didn't always talk about how Mexican they were, and I guess that wasn't part of the story. Whereas this one is showing. It looks like it's showing like the. Her going through the transitions. They show from this is all based on the trailer. This is all the knowledge I have from that. I have not played it.
My Game Pass ran out, so I have not played Tell Me Why.
Yeah, I mean, they show in the trailer. I was confused a second. It took me to see what was going on. But yeah, you see that I believe it was two girls running around the house when they were young, and then you see them grown up, and then one of them's like the dude. I'm like, oh, they have a brother now. I'm like, where was he? Oh, and then took me a second to get that, but. I don't know. It seems a little ham-fisted with how they're handling that, and I think I heard that there was a little too direct in how they were handling that as well.
It's a hard game to play, and not game, just the balancing.
Yeah.
The topic is hard to balance,
and I'm sure with time people will get their hooks on that a little easier and be able to tell that story without seeming like, all right, this is the trans story. Like, I don't know, but. All that considered, I think it still will win.
In its defense, I'll bring up Swery. I don't know if the Deadly Premonition guy. Apparently, he had a game that he did really. He did really well with handling that kind of issue.
Yeah,
it was some I think it's on the Switch. You cut off your body parts and you use it to solve environmental puzzles.
Okay,
but then in Deadly Premonition 2, there was a problem where. I think the protagonist dead names a character.
Yeah.
And I have played that. And apparently he tried to fix it, but it didn't do enough. So even someone who's handled the topic successfully can still make mistakes. Mm-hmm. So in defense of Tell Me Why, especially because we haven't gone too far into it ourselves, I think it's hard to please everyone. So whichever opinion has been spoken loudly will reach you.
Yeah, and then now thinking about it, because I would without spoiling it, I kind of like the way they handled it in The Last of Us with certain characters. situations like that. But I guess the idea of what these games are doing is that the whole game is based on that.
Okay.
That's what it revolves on, whatever issues.
Let me look at this description again.
Okay.
Thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message.
Okay, so the whole meaning is that. Okay, so that makes sense then. That's why Last of Us is on here.
Okay.
But anyways, all right. So I say Tell Me Why, you say Kentucky Route Zero.
Yeah.
TV dish.
Okay. Now, our next award is only on my end here.
Yeah.
So we got Best Ongoing.
Okay.
Awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time. Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Call of Duty Warzone, Fortnite, No Man's Sky.
Okay.
This one's going to be hard for me. As someone who only just now started playing Fortnite,
I mean, come on.
their ongoing
year,
content made me want to go in. And granted, I am not spending money on Kratos as much as I would like to.
How much is he?
It's the V-Bucks conversion is weird, but it's like 1,500 V-Bucks and you get like 1,000 for $8. So he's over $10 for a skin. And
But it's crazy.
I can make him dance and do like the never gonna give you up dance, which isn't a very good dance, but like I can make him do the.
I haven't gotten into Fortnite ever. I think I played it once at a game night party once, and I just didn't care for it.
Mm-hmm.
However, I would be lying if I didn't say I wasn't enticed to this year with all the stuff that they're doing.
Yeah.
And that's the only one on this list that stands out that are going above and beyond. Like I know that Destiny 2 has some drops. And I do appreciate that No Man's Sky is continuing their support, and they got that next gen stuff either out or on the way soon.
Mm-hmm.
And that looked impressive, the before and afters. But I mean, there's no denying that Fortnite has just been killer this year. They got the Travis Scott stuff, Galactus, Ghostbusters, Marvel, freaking Mandalorian, and now it looks like, from what I understand, they're doing the representatives for every console. So you got Kratos. The rumor has been Master Chief. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if they've announced him officially.
They've not announced anything officially for that.
Right, but a whole bunch of leaks that were the same people that leaked the Kratos stuff before they would announce that officially. And then now the rumor is for something on Nintendo's side was Samus. But we'll see. But regardless, a ton of stuff that they've been doing. So I think Fortnite takes this and runs with it.
In respect to Apex, I would say that from what I've heard and gathered, they seem to still be doing a great job of making that game interesting and keep going. But it seems like a lot of the decisions they make are divisive.
Okay.
In the community.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I hear this character is fantastic, and the next character release like, oh, this one's not good.
Well, no, they made like some, and don't quote me on this, but they made like some change to the way shields work or something, and it led to people just being a little dissatisfied with the direction. When they can always change the direction, I think it's a worthy contender, but Fortnite's just been. They added Wolverine. They added Kratos.
Not they. They added.
The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Who I have currently.
They add Nathan Drake. I'm in. I'll tell you right now.
There's a lot of white dudes with brown hair. You don't need.
I mean, yeah, add that skin. And
Troy Baker's already doing the voice of some people in there, Jonesy or whatever.
Yeah.
So, do we agree then?
Yeah.
Okay. So the next award would be Best Performance.
Mm-hmm.
Now, while I pull up the description, would you like to read the
The
nominees?
Nominees are Ashley Johnson as Ellie, Laura Bailey as Abby,
Daisuke Tsuji?
Daisuke Tsuji as Jin Sakai, Logan Cunningham as Hades, and then Naji Jeter as Miles Morales.
Our apologies for any mispronunciations, but
I don't apologize.
The description for Best Performance is awarded to an individual for voiceover acting, motion, and or performance capture. Before we discuss this, the Hades one is weird.
Okay.
Because he voices multiple characters.
Right.
So, are we giving this award to
I think
this person or this person as Hades? Because
that is tough because the way they have all the other ones set up is specifically just one character in there in quotes. In this case, it could be a little hard to tell because Hades is a game, but also the name of the character that he also plays, and that's in quotes too. So if we're following the pattern that they're doing, I would say just as Hades.
Okay.
But
The
even
way it
then-
looks on the website here, you would not know he voiced other characters.
right.
And of his characters, Hades is not my number one
Okay.
from Hades, if that makes sense.
So do you want to have like a caveat where if they mean all the characters, then you think he wins? If they don't, then you choose someone else? Is that what you're kind of leaning at here?
You know what? To be honest, I think he does a fantastic job.
Still no.
But it's,
Okay.
It's a number 3 of
Wow.
5.
Okay. Dang, I didn't know you like Miles Morales that much. That's great.
I do enjoy that Sunflower song.
Okay. So, I mean, I'll cut to the chase here. It's really going to come down to two people here. You got either Ashley Johnson, or Laura Bailey.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
It comes down to them. You got to take out, I think, what character you enjoyed them as more out of their context as well, and just go by the performance.
Okay. I don't know how much what I'm going to say something that I don't know if it agrees or disagrees with you.
Okay.
You go into this is we going to get into spoilers for Last of Us?
I would probably not do that here.
Okay. Well, knowing what we know,
Just mild trailer stuff we
Okay.
can get into, I guess, but like I don't think we really need to.
okay. Well, knowing what I know and what you know, Laura Bailey is able to take a character and really enrich them, for lack of a better phrase, in a
your
character that I didn't want to be enriched by,
Okay.
especially because
Now, do you think that's
she's
just based on?
Trunks
You think
and
that's
Dragon
just?
Ball.
You think that's just based on her performance though, or what they narratively did with that character though?
I mean, but
You gotta keep that
that's
in mind.
not entirely fair to say because sometimes to increase a performance, you have to have good writing, and
Not always.
Not always, but the writing was there, and Laura Bailey did a good job with it.
Okay.
Jin Sakai, I feel like I heard him say Tsushima pronounced differently sometimes, so he loses.
Okay.
I'm being mean, but when it comes to those two, I have to decide: do I like the enriching they did, or do I really like their singing ability in one scene? That is the question.
That is the dumbest
No,
way of
that-
going through that.
That's me. Okay.
During
Like,
a
actually-
very, very... God, it's tough with that spoilers.
Yeah.
During a very pinnacle scene,
Mm-hmm.
fairly early on in the game,
Mm-hmm.
Ellie is going through some serious trauma, and I had yet to see Abby face anything like that and act in any way like how she was acting in this specific scene. No, at no point did she explain did she emote the same kind of emotions that were done in that scene and other scenes specifically too, but that's the one I'm talking about. That was incredible, and at no
I don't
point
know that is so this
the
is
way
hard.
she was acting during that
Who
scene.
are you talking about? And without saying the scene,
Exactly, I'm saying
it's hard for me
fairly
to
early
follow
on in the
here.
game. Ellie is going through trauma of her seeing something happen.
Yeah, that's a good part.
And and at no point did that same kind of performance ever come out from Abby.
But then is that a fair comparison? Because were they put in a position to have that kind of performance? This is where I think the
Yes.
writing comes into play.
I mean, based on what Abby experienced, I mean, without...
Okay, how about
There was some stuff lost on Abby's side that a lot more things were being... There's a lot of stuff that she was losing over what Ellie was losing.
this is hard without spoilers? Can I give an example? That is going to be a weird example.
Okay.
This is the equivalent.
This better not go off on a tangent.
This is the equivalent, I think, of you saying, and this is again a weird example because it's not exactly 1-to-1, but let's say Goku and Cell in Dragon Ball Z.
Okay.
That's like, I think you're saying, well, Goku's a better voice performance because he's turned Super Saiyan. The way he emotes is turning Super Saiyan is so much stronger than and Cell never was never able to turn Super Saiyan, so he wasn't really given that opportunity.
He
to
turned
be in
stronger
that
than Super
moment.
Saiyan.
He
So
does.
he has the
But
opportunity.
it's a different character. They have different emotions. There's different situations going on.
And again, that's based on their performance. She's doing a performance for a certain character versus the performance of a different character.
But Cell wasn't able to turn Super Saiyan. So
it doesn't matter.
But it does, because your example is, man, remember when Goku turned Super Saiyan? Like, think about how, like...
I wouldn't even
his
use
voice-
that as my... That's just screaming.
but I'm trying not to use spoilers.
I gotcha.
For the sake of enjoying the debate, and for the sake of what I think the actress did, and you have seemed to want to disqualify my moment with Ashley Johnson as not being a good enough moment, I'm going to go Laura Bailey then. Because I was on Team Ashley Johnson until you tried to start with me.
Now you're gonna you're gonna be. I'm throwing you a curveball here.
Okay.
I think Laura Bailey wins this.
What the hell, man?
I would personally say Ashley Johnson.
Okay.
I think Ashley gave a better performance than Laura. Not by a huge margin. It was. I mean, God, what a good freaking performance on either end. However, based on what people were saying after the game, I've heard more people talk about, wow, and for your reason that you brought up mildly, and I try not to spoil here also, they're like, wow, they made me like a character I didn't. I heard that a lot, and I think because of that, Laura Bailey will win this. I don't personally feel the way.
So annoyed at you.
Why?
So I wanted to argue. Anyway. But
I did that purposely. I approached that to have a discussion because I knew where you were leaning.
Son of a gun.
I know, right?
Son of a gun.
So good?
I will say, though, I've gone back to Last of Us scenes, and Ashley Johnson I've gone back to several times.
She's good, man.
Not gone back and been like, yo, I want to hear Laura Bailey do that part.
Yeah.
I've never done that. So I'm going to say Ashley Johnson.
You son of Okay. So we're both in for Laura?
No, Laura.
Yeah, I know. And they're championing her hard.
I will say, I used some of the hate she as a human being got in this game's release in my own classroom. Like, I had quotes from her, and students had to use it in an essay. Like, like, it's the people, like, have you seen the tweets that people were sending her?
I've
like
seen
the
some
death
of them
threats
in the
and just
beginning,
and even worse somehow threats out there.
I can't believe the babies that this game that came out from them not getting what they wanted from this game. It was so stupid.
Either way, let's give Laura Bailey her award.
Is that the right way to go?
But it's hard. It's just hard because I think there's some great people here. Logan Cunningham does phenomenal work.
Oh.
I'm not familiar too much with the Miles Morales actor, but he sound like it's not the same guy from Spider-Verse, right?
No.
But he, I don't know how much of a compliment this. I don't mean this in a non-complimentary way, but I couldn't even tell if it was the Spider-Verse guy or not. Like, he just did a good job. I think. This sounds like what I would think Miles Morales would sound like.
You want to know a fun fact with him? I don't know if you know this. Would you be surprised if I tell you he was in Last of Us? 1.
He's Joel?
He's Joel! No, man. He's the... Oh, man.
Like the kid with
okay. Yeah, the guy with
That's
the brother.
cool.
He was one of the brothers. So that was neat that he stayed in PlayStation.
Okay. And
anyway, I heard he did fantastic, but there's just no comparison.
Yeah,
I mean...
And Jin Sakai, he does not hit the range that these two ladies hit.
No. He did great, but no. And again, also...
I will follow this bird.
They're also given way more to work with than any of the other
again
games.
almost feels like that's why it's like it's a weird.
That's ultimately what it comes down to, though.
I agree.
When you see a performance, you see more ranges in the performances with the stuff that they were given. So, anyways, all right. So, Laura Bailey's got this. All right.
Is that the one we talked about the most?
Yes, we did.
Okay. All right. Best audio design, recognizing the best in-game audio and sound design.
You got Doom Eternal, Half-Life Alyx, Ghost of Tsushima, Resident Evil 3, and Last of Us Part 2.
Last of Us.
Yeah?
Yeah. Do you have any other debate here?
No. Last of Us got that. I have yet.
I've heard Half-Life might have it's worthy in this category.
I heard Resident Evil 3 had some cool stuff going on too, because if it's anything like how 2 did it, 2 was great also. But yeah, like I told you in our...
If 2 were on here, I would put 2.
Okay.
The
Well,
dude stomping? God.
Oh, yeah.
God, man, that game was the worst, but great.
Yeah. Yeah, like I mentioned in our spoiler cast for Last of Us 2, there was just some crazy audio stuff happening.
I never have listened more in a game.
Yeah.
By holding L1.
Oh, yeah. Well, in regards to how I had it now, I know I have a different setup than yours. I had
That's true.
I have like a 5.1 setup, so I definitely got more of it. But even I've heard other 5.1 games. The way they handled this was phenomenal. I got confused many a times where I had to pause the game because I legit thought it was raining outside my house with how they handled it, and it wasn't.
Let's call this the Castlevania Anime Award then.
In what way?
Because you described
that
show you don't seem to like, even though you should go back to season 3.
I gotta get to it.
But there was that moment, I believe your wife was confused as to where the sound was coming from. I've never had that feeling, but I do not have the
I'll invite you
audio
over
setup.
once I find that episode one day, or I'll just remember it when you come over. I'll let you listen to it once I have that receiver hooked up again.
Okay.
All right. So audio design, Last of Us. Okay. Best score in music. I have a feeling you have some strong opinions.
Is there another audio award? No, I guess that was the one. Okay, best score in music.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and read that description.
I just want to get to the... All right. For outstanding music inclusive of score, original song, and or licensed soundtrack.
We got Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Hades, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and Last of Us Part 2. I don't know why okay, yeah, no, they did have some music. Yeah, I forget the
if we're including
the
use of licensed music, this does make it harder.
Yeah, it does. I was thinking, I'm like, why is Last of Us here? I'm like, yeah, their music's good, but I mean, compared to this stuff. Okay, damn, that does make it hard.
I'm not familiar enough with Ori.
Doom, get Doom out of here. Why is Doom here?
It wasn't there drama with the composer there or something, like with the...
Perhaps, I'm not sure.
You know what? Let me do something real quick.
If I had to guess yours, you would say Final Fantasy. Can
we pay respect to the people behind this? Because the website actually has the composers.
Oh, okay.
Doom Eternal, and just because we're kicking him out,
I
don't want Mick Gordon to feel like his work is no good. Then we have Nobuo Uematsu, Masahashi Hamazu, and Mitsudo Suzuki for Final Fantasy VII.
Okay.
Darren Korb for Hades. Oh, dang it, this is harder than I thought. Composed by Ori is Gareth Choker, or is it Choker? Coker.
The Joker.
And then Gustavo Santaolalla. And additional music by Mac Quayle, Last of Us Part 2.
Oh, yeah, never mind.
Santaolalla! Anyway.
So he's Japanese now. Okay.
No. Who? Okay, I need to know who you got here.
I mean, this one's tricky because I'm not too familiar with the music on Ori, Hades, or Doom. I can't imagine it being that standout because I haven't heard anyone really mention the music in any of those three. So honestly, it just comes down to Final Fantasy Remake and Last of Us 2.
Which, to be fair, are the ones you've played.
Which are the ones that I played, but again, I can still make some good guesses based on stuff that I've heard, and I haven't really heard anyone mention that.
Okay. If we're gonna cut here for me, Doom. Sorry, when I was playing the previous Doom, it was a lot of just rock and metal, and I can appreciate that genre, and I like some of the songs in that genre, but it kind of all blended together for me.
Right.
Someone with a more critical ear could disagree, of course. Last of Us, there's one great moment.
I mean, I like Joel's moment too.
The lyrics of that song, I think in our previous podcast on it, ruined some of that song for me. I'm an English teacher, so I know more about lyrics than you. I'm joking.
I mean, probably.
No.
Yeah, Final Fantasy's got this. I don't agree.
You don't agree?
I don't. I mean, Final Fantasy's got it. I don't know. I don't want to get into too much details. I mean, I didn't like the music.
You disliked the music? I think that's crazy.
I did not dislike it. None of it. I can't remember any of it.
That's crazy.
But that's what I heard though, because I heard that for the players of the original, like you played the original, when you hear the new remakes versions of it, and the stuff that they added to kind of fit that stuff, it's like hype.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas someone that has no attachment to that, it's just noise. And that's how I felt. It was just noise. And at one point, like, my wife was even getting like annoyed with like songs like.
I can see I will say the newer songs they've added. There's a select few that I was like, this isn't as good as the others. Like a lot of the new music they added, I didn't particularly care for. I loved the remixes and everything. The way they would take the battle themes and the boss theme. I think it's Those Who Fight Further. They renamed them. Like there's one called the Airbuster. Like when you'd fight the summons, it would show up again. And like I would go and like fight the summons again just to hear that song again. Or I would go and like I bought about $12 worth of songs on iTunes just so I had the Final Fantasy VII soundtrack on there. I debated the $35 soundtrack, but I'm Puerto Rican. Then I will say for Hades, I can distinctly recall songs in my head right now, and it makes me want to play that game. And
so it's down between those two games for you.
Yeah, there's that great Last of Us moment, but one song versus
no, I understand. That's why, like, I although that song was a pivotal moment, it doesn't. I don't think it.
It's also an optional moment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't think it deserves to be as part of it because of that.
Okay.
And again, the stuff Gustavo does is still fantastic, but yeah, I don't think it. I don't know.
I have Darren Korb music on my phone, not specifically from Hades, but I debated when my wife and I were getting married. We were trying to find a song like the First Dance deal. Okay. And I brought up a song from Transistor.
Okay.
She was like, it's too slow. And I was like, okay. I don't know if that was the exact reason she said no, but she said this is a good song, but I don't. And she could have said nice, but she had no idea it was from a video game or anything.
Right.
Like, I wanted Transistor at my wedding, but you know what I also wanted that my wife agreed to, but I said no in the end.
Okay.
Do you know the when we got married? I was like, what if after we say I do and we kiss, that plays? And she agreed to it, but I just thought it's not the time.
Yeah,
it's not appropriate
because the way you had yours set up, it was a little bit more like the stuff for the fun part of your wedding. That was inside. Outside, you had it more like eloquent and stuff.
But I enjoy Final Fantasy VII music so much that I could have had that happen.
Okay, so that is your choice.
But I did.
That is your choice.
It's my choice. But man, Hades, that composer is
honorable
fantastic.
Mention.
I do a podcast separately for my students, and the Quarter 3 theme song is going to be the music that plays when Cloud is at the club. Like one of the songs that plays when he's dancing.
Okay.
That's going to be in... Like, I'm going to be using that. It's called Funk With Me. It's fantastic.
Oh, sure. Subtle.
And it's one of the few wholly original soundtrack songs that I enjoy. There's also one called I don't know, it's when you fight the ghosts boss, and I was just like, man, this song is awesome. And then you fight it when you fight Leviathan in the summons. Anyway, I'm gushing over Final Fantasy VII music, and I think I want to argue with you and play music for you so you can properly appreciate Final Fantasy VII. But it seems like you're picking it anyway. So
I'm aware that other people also feel the same way about it. About the music. Maybe
your wife caught the one weird song. It's the song that plays when you're like with the hand, like with the hand, you got to move and everything. That area.
It was like industrial sounding and like gears or something.
There was something I didn't. They did like a ska remix of a song though around that part as well, and I was like, bow, 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 and I'm just like, yeah. But this is such a hard decision for me, even though my heart knows it's Final Fantasy. Darren Korb is a fantastic composer.
Okay.
And
so you just want to give a special shout out
to him. The talent he gets involved in there is, and it's talent that continues. Like all the games have a lot of the same like singers. Like there's a girl who sings in Bastion who's in she's the main protagonist in Transistor, and she shows up in Hades. The voice actress does, or the singer does. So, like I think maybe with Hades, I'm also thinking of the other games.
Okay.
So Final Fantasy,
Sure, I agree.
That is a soundtrack I listen to as I'm driving or jogging or biking.
All right.
And only game other than Last of Us, I think, to give me like goosebumps as I'm playing. I specifically play Final Fantasy with headphones on at points that I never really use, but I was like, I'm putting these on. I just want to hear this song right in my ear holes.
I gotcha.
Anyway.
Okay, so then moving on to the next one. Best art direction.
For outstanding creative and or technical achievement in artistic design and animation.
I like this.
Don't count the door. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead. But you like that I'm saying...
Yeah, I like saying best art direction, and you immediately jump in and say the description. I like that. Should have planned that out earlier. I did done for it.
No, it's all natural.
Yeah, no, I mean you've been doing it like that for a
Big Naturals. That's what our podcast should be called.
Jesus. We'll never take off. All right, so nominees being Final Fantasy VII. That door keeps it. Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and Last of Us Part 2.
Let's just say this real quick. We need to discuss the Final Fantasy VII door. That way we can include the image in the podcast. Like the video version.
You gotta send me that image because you had a good one.
It's... this game, you sent me like a Snapchat video of that game, and I was like, why does it look so good? Like, I don't remember it looking that good. And again, it's your camera's quality is fantastic.
TV.
And the TV.
And then it happened to be one of the CG scenes.
Yeah.
But even then, it still looked fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, there is just some...
There's some ugly
glaring omissions of why couldn't you just give this door...
That hotel door.
Just a PS3 texture. You don't even have to go...
What was...
4. You know?
I said it in the last podcast, but who knows who's listening to which ones. I always thought, maybe there's a problem and it'll get fixed, like, by the time Felipe borrows this game.
Yeah.
And
which was quite some months after.
Hearing that they never did is astounding to me.
Yeah.
But, I need to look at this description again because this award got harder in my head, actually.
Okay. Giggity.
For outstanding creative and or technical achievement in artistic design and animation. Okay, so we've got to include animation in this as well.
Well, all of it's animated.
Yeah, it just, I feel like sometimes this award, that's why it's not best graphics.
Right.
Last of Us has the best graphics.
Oh, for sure. But it's
art direction?
No, it's just real. It's real life.
But we should take into account the clickers and the bloaters.
Sure.
That's maybe more this the what's that monster called?
The Rat King.
The Rat King. Which I still don't know where that name came from.
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
But I guess I shouldn't say too much more because then we head into spoilers.
But yeah, that's a tough one because same deal with Ghosts. Very realistic game. However, they did have some beautiful direction, but you know, with like their the way they play with lights and the leaves and everything, and just photo mode was just next level for that game.
I'm so sorry. Did Last of Us win best audio from us?
Yes.
The whistling. We didn't even talk about the whistling.
Yeah,
I just want that mentioned. Anyway, sorry. That whistling deserves a mention. And I feel like maybe I should bring it up because I'm ready to cut this.
Right.
Not that I'm ready for you to finish speaking.
No, I gotcha. I think it just comes down, and with Final Fantasy, it's just, again, the door, whatever. But there is some beautiful spots, but it's not consistent. And the door is one of the examples, but other stuff too. It's just
Red 13. He looks so good.
He looks cool, I guess. But there is just some, I don't know. I think ultimately it comes down to Hades and Ori. And I've always loved the way Ori looks. However, you know, I was gathering up some images for those, you know, the images that I'm going to be using, and Hades look really nice too. So it's really come to me, for the little bit that I know, when it comes to those two games. I don't have them, I never played them. It's going to come down to one of those two. And I think Hades is going to sweep a lot with a lot of stuff. So I'm going to give this to Ori.
But again, this turns into your giving awards in this real psychological way. as opposed to
And
what's
but that's
best.
the thing, though.
And I understand. I get you.
That's been the pattern in the past. Oscars was the same. Oscars work the same way. Grammys work the same way.
I know.
Emmys, it's the same deal. So I'm just
but it
using
doesn't
that
deserve
logic.
the win. Do you think it's better art direction than Hades?
To me personally, I like the way Ori looks better than Hades.
Okay. So
That's just more my style.
If we're predicting, yeah, your way makes so much sense, and it's how the world works, and Ori wins. But
what do you personally feel?
Hades just, I guess I'm more thinking of it as a full, complete picture here.
Mm.
So if we're just looking at only art, I feel like Final Fantasy and Ori's the real debate here.
Really?
I do.
I think
when you think of PlayStation 1 doors, yes, but we're also dealing...
No, well, I'm just thinking of their
because, that door is awful.
I'm thinking of their environments, too. Like, it's just... Like, when you're walking outside the freaking area where the kids are at, and they have, like, the little hideout, if you go through that tunnel, like, to the left of that town, you go through the trash.
You're talking about Final Fantasy, right?
Final Fantasy, yeah. It's just, like, it didn't look good. I don't know. It just looked really dirty, and I know that's this part, they're in the slums and whatnot, but, like, it's just not a very appealing look, and to me that's an easy look to pull off, whereas having something beautiful or eye-catching,
okay, then
that's where the true talent comes.
Why don't we discuss this then? In Final Fantasy, a lot of it is probably nostalgia on me and them taking what I originally saw and then blowing it up,
of course,
and being under the plates or the pizza, as Barrett calls it.
Sure.
There's even a song called "Under the Rotting Pizza," but like that unease and disgust you have with it is purposeful.
Right.
How about when you're at Aerith's house? Did that change? That's the only part I can think of that's like, hey, this is when it's intentionally very pretty.
With all the flowers.
With all the flowers and the fireflies and everything.
It was nice.
It's supposed to be, here's this one
but
pretty
if
place
you want to
and
look
all
at
this
flowers
ugly...
and fireflies and like lights and stuff outside.
Last of Us, the fireflies.
That too. But you got Ori. And that outshines anything Final Fantasy did.
Okay.
That's the way I see it. So who do you think will win?
I know we don't like dead air, but I really have to think about this. But if I'm being smart, I give my money to Ori.
Okay.
This
What do you
isn't our
personally feel?
award. I think Ori pulls off what it's going for fantastically. But it's just that look. Where Final Fantasy, to me, there's more... It's purposefully ugly in spots and purposefully pretty in others. Except that door. That door. But if we're looking at a total... this is a weird way to phrase it, but Ori always looks good. Final Fantasy doesn't always look good.
Sounds like there's a clear winner out of those two.
Alright, Ori.
Alright, next. Best narrative.
For outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game.
Oh, that's it? Okay. Oh boy, we
Dang,
got
this is hard. We need to make the cuts. I feel bad. This 13 Sentinels has to... we need to read the things.
That's what I was going to 13 Sentinels.
I'm excited for this one.
Aegis Rim.
Aegis?
Aegis? I've seen... Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
Final Fantasy VII Rimaki.
Rimako.
Ghost of Tsushima. And then you got Hades and Last of Us Part 2. This one's up for debate because clearly narrative is based on one's... It's like subjective, based on what one likes in a story more.
Are they not all?
Well, exactly.
Like Valkyrie?
I feel bad. I don't know. I'm not too familiar with the game, but get 13 Sentinels out of here. That's not going to happen.
Is that like PC only or something? I want to see
by
that.
the appearance of it.
The
It
fact
looks like
that
it's
it's up
mobile.
here with
Okay.
these. Wait, is that the Alice game?
It looks like their
that
style.
was on sale. I think. You know what? I might pick this up if it's up here.
Yeah, I might. It obviously.
I might
I'm not
pick
saying
this
it's a bad game, just compared to these.
If it's on the Switch, I may pick this up.
I'd say get rid of Ghosts.
Yeah.
As much as I liked it,
Do you have anything positive to say on that though? Like
Ghost narrative?
Can I? Okay, there's one part in Ghost of Tsushima's narrative that I was in, and it deals with like an antagonist,
mm-hmm.
and there's a part where he does something that you can tell he doesn't feel comfortable doing, but he does it
with the gate,
with something. And
Yeah.
that was the part where I was in.
Dude,
I was
same
ready,
here.
and then
I was like, oh snap! And then during the reunion, it's just over so quickly. I was like, oh man, like
it was. I was like, I needed more of it. Like
Yeah.
I almost feel like that person that maybe the game should have been about them. And I understand.
I would have loved to see.
You'd
more.
have to re-edit and
Yeah.
But
I know what the scene you're talking about.
there's
and
that part,
God,
and
this is stuff without spoilers.
yeah.
But I think the people that know, they know.
But I don't know why it's here.
No,
Maybe there
correct.
weren't many good stories this year. I know COVID happened, but like maybe if I look at my list, I could find a better contender.
For sure, but
I kind of want to look because I write down every game I beat every
Yeah.
year. Do you do that yet?
I started to recently when I brought up the idea of explaining what games we beat, but that will be
Mhm.
for another podcast.
Okay. Because I don't know why Pokemon Sword and Shield ain't here. I'm just joking.
Wait, you mean trying to catch them all? What?
No, not anymore. They cut them.
Oh, okay, they got him.
Dex
Oh, they
it,
cut 'em
whatever
off.
they called it.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, what you think's got this? So those two are clear omissions. I did not like Final Fantasy VII's story much. There was some stuff where I was into it for sure, and then it just once they got to the Shinra building, I was like, ugh.
Okay. Now, to be fair, we spoke about my theories, and you mentioned
That's the
this
thing.
is
It's a theory.
if that is what they're doing, and it seems like that's what they're doing.
Yes.
And you mentioned, literally said the word fantastic.
Yes.
I remember you in my house saying this.
And you're not the only one. Like I told you, I finally listened to some spoiler casts
Okay.
after the fact, and yeah, that was a big part of the debate.
Mhm.
And they were talking about it like it was confirmed. I'm like, I don't think it's confirmed yet, but if the theory you're talking about, where it's not really a remake, and I'm sure people that know what we're discussing, if it really is that, that is freaking crazy.
It is.
But
It doesn't translate for someone who
Exactly.
who's new.
because it's crazy. What I mean is that's fantastic for you because you get to experience that. I don't.
But that's a narrative.
To me, this is me. Well, yeah, but this is me experiencing it for the first time. So that narrative works both ways for someone that's played it before. But you got to keep in mind that there's people that haven't,
Mhm.
and for me, narrative completely falls apart.
So you're saying it can't win best narrative because you are unaware of some of the narrative?
I'm not. I was told the narrative that they told me. I experienced the same
Okay.
game you did. However, you have a backing knowledge of a different game, and it sounds like this game is being enhanced by you playing other games.
So, okay, then how does this work? What's your favorite Harry Potter movie?
The first.
Okay, well you know what? You win. Never mind.
No, I knew.
But you get where I'm going.
I know you were going there. But the thing is, though, okay, it's not. I'm not playing because I would say Deathly Hallows.
we got to be careful because I think we go too spoilery if we.
I would say Deathly Hallows like part 1 or 2, right? But I'm not. It's not Sorcerer's Stone 2 or a remake. It's its own continuation. Whereas this is a remake of it, and you know what I'm trying to get at. Anyways, I personally didn't like it, but I understand that people do, and that.
But the look you gave me when I told you my theory, you had a look like
I know.
dang,
That's crazy, but that's the thing. It's a theory. Until it gets confirmed, that shouldn't.
So
be.
how about if it's confirmed by remake part 2? Will we do a 3-minute podcast where you take back what you're about to say here?
I would not, because I still don't like the story. I'm just saying that it's crazy that is what's happening. But I still don't like what's happening.
Fantastic.
It's
That
fantastic
implies
for you.
No, you didn't say that at the time.
Well, that's what I meant.
We should have recorded that after the other
Oh my
podcast.
gosh.
So we had it on air and everyone could hear the glint in your throat.
I would definitely shoot up some respect to Final Fantasy Remake for sure. Because I personally did not, if you can't tell, audience, I did not like it as much as other people did. But that would definitely shoot up. And I'm like, oh man, kudos to you guys. But I wouldn't enjoy it anymore because I still haven't played the first one.
Okay, well, speaking of what you haven't played, you're going to cut Hades, obviously.
Well, I don't know. Yes, I will actually cut out Hades.
Yeah.
Because with how Hades works, it's cool that each time you play it, there is some dialogue referencing either your losses or your victories. That's all I really know. I'm sure there's a lot more to it than what I'm breaking it down to, but pretty much you escape Hades fairly quickly, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I mean, you have to beat it.
Yeah, you have to get out,
Beat
but
it.
then you don't really get out. You have to replay it again, and then each time you
have
replay
that
it.
option. You can replay a game again.
But the second time you replay it, they bring up the fact like, yeah,
They've
when you beat me last time, yeah, when you beat me last time, but you won't get me again.
But they do it, but they don't do it in a way that, if anyone's unaware, it makes it sound like they're breaking the fourth wall.
Right.
Like it's not like
that's what it sounds like.
It's not that at all.
Oh, okay.
So if you're gonna cut Hades, which I'm gonna fight you,
okay,
figuratively,
okay,
because it's not like they're like, you beat the game, let's go back. Like and that sounds like sophomoric, but there is no breaking the wall. It is established in the fiction that you are to continue playing if you would like, because the narrative is not over. And even after you complete the narrative, there's...
So the narrative is only good if you choose to go back to it, is what you're saying.
But it's good enough that you want to.
Okay.
And there's...
That's a fair point.
I also would say, and I would... This almost sounds negative, but it has the most narrative. Like, I've beaten Hades. I got credits.
Okay.
To the point where they're like, hey, you are done, technically. But once you beat it and get the credits, like I've beaten Hades, it took multiple completions to get the credits.
Okay.
Once I got the credits, there's still more narrative.
Okay.
And those characters are interacting with all the knowledge that you have now. Like, I can't imagine how many lines of audio that this game has. It's insane how much they recall of what you do. Like, every time you lose to an enemy, like, and you die and you start over, like, it's brought up by certain characters and everything. Like, you always feel like there's more narrative going on.
Okay.
And there's even, like, romances in this game.
Right.
That I haven't even
explored.
Yeah, because there's more to do.
So that sounds like that's your winner.
I would like to hear, and I guess we have to repeat some of our Last of Us podcast, because I remember having some problems that on a second playthrough that I've done since then with my wife, I don't necessarily disagree with what I said before, but I don't feel as firm about it.
Okay.
So I'm willing to listen, and this is harder without you playing Hades, but yeah. I'm willing to listen to your pitch before I make a decision. But we can't do spoilers, so that is
correct. This will be ultimately, I think, a similar. Okay, this can go one of two ways, and obviously it's kind of like a cop out because we're really coming down to these two games as the options for who do you think has the best narratives.
I have 3 still in my brain.
No, Final Fantasy isn't winning this. So pretty much it comes down to Hades and Last of Us Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's what it sounds like, because you got a lot more to say about Hades just now.
You've not played Hades, so I had to explain.
I guess so.
Elaborate.
Obviously, I want to say Last of Us Part 2, because I enjoyed that a hell of a lot more than I did Final Fantasy. And to me, that's just characters that I like, and the performances, everything. Everything added up to a great game.
And also as a sequel. So you've got a little.
Well, this is the 7th one.
Shut up. That's a good. That's a good reply there.
However, and man, this one's tough because like the backlash Last of Us 2 got because of its narrative, it was so mixed. And honestly, it just comes down to like whether you liked the results of what happened or not. And obviously that applies to everything, but you got to keep in mind, like, this is the story they decided to tell. How do you think they told it? Not what did you think about the choices they made. I think that's what narrative should be about. And with Last of Us, people are trashing it or being mean to certain performers because of what the performer did, how they changed the story, how it didn't go the way they thought it was going to go, and I feel like some critics will have that still in their mind when choosing this thing.
I feel like the critics, if they're the ones choosing this,
they're usually well better than the typical.
They're not Bong Ripper 42069XX Sephiroth on
Latino
on Xbox.
Yeah, I want Last of Us 2 to win this. I could see it going to Hades or. Yeah, I guess it's gonna be Hades or Last of Us.
This 13 Sentinels on here could be do you think it's a sleeper at all? Like it could come up from behind here?
No chance.
Okay.
I don't think. Well,
I would love for it to. That way, I'd be like, I want to check this out. And then this is what beat Last of Us.
I will give it the time of day if it does win. Beat Last of Us. I'll just stick with my gut. Last of Us wins this. I would not be surprised at all. I wouldn't be like, darn, if it doesn't, because it's like I could see it not easily.
Here's my final sell for Hades.
Okay.
I think I'm going to pick Hades as the win.
Okay. Told you.
They made me play a game genre that I've tried and I just I hate this. Like, I don't like Spelunky. I don't like Binding of Isaac. I can respect them for sure.
Right.
But just I was like, it's just frustrating and I wasn't having fun.
Okay.
But Hades was able to not only take a roguelike and make me want to play it, but make me enjoy the narrative and then use the genre to enhance that narrative. Last of Us could have been a Telltale game and it would that narrative would still work. But Hades being a roguelike made that game have a stronger narrative.
Okay.
Where even Final Fantasy, it could have been a first-person shooter. You could have done that story. You can't do that story unless it's a roguelike with Hades. And I'm fighting for a roguelike. I have never brought up a roguelike to you before.
Yeah, I know.
And I personally, I don't either. They got me. And the more I talk about it, the more I'm convincing myself, which maybe isn't a fair statement, but I think it's Hades.
Okay. So you got Hades, I got Last of Us.
I also love Greek mythology, so that is in there. Anyway, next award, there's no description for or even mention of it on the Game Awards website.
Yeah, it's pretty clear as to what the description is. So this is most anticipated game.
For a game, regardless of platform, anticipating people and making people anticipated for it.
So you did find
No, it's my brain.
You just off the top. All right.
I should have made one and if people would anyway.
Yeah, right.
Give us the nominees.
The nominees are Elden Ring, Halo Infinite, Horizon Forbidden West, God of War's sequel.
Man, that's a good name.
Which is technically, they should have just called it Ragnarok, because that's what they officially.
Oh, have they? Okay.
That. Yeah, it's God of War Ragnarok.
Thor Ragnarok.
Sure. Resident Evil Village and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel. So just put 2. Come on, guys. Come on, Jeff Keighley.
It's all good.
Yeah, it's fine.
Because technically, all but one of these are sequels.
This is the one that has the most options. It's been 5 this whole time. It's been 6. Okay. What do you think got this?
This is a dumb award, in my opinion.
It's just
who has the best press?
Well, yeah. Who do you think has the most buzz? What have you heard people most excited about?
For some reason, and I don't get it, but you throw George R.R. Martin's name, and apparently you're fixing all the Game of Thrones people's opinions. I think Elden Ring.
Really?
Yeah, dude. That is the game I hear. People are not talking about Horizon.
No, of course not. But they just announced that.
People are down on Halo right now. God of War, sure. People are excited, but I don't hear too much about it. Resident Evil, it maybe is a number 3. People want Zelda, but I hear the most about Elden Ring. Wow. And the most, rumors that, you hear Elden Ring's going to be here. They're going to announce it here. It's going to be at the Xbox conference. It's going to be at the State of Play. Whatever. Apparently there were rumors it's going to be at the Game Awards, and then apparently it's not now. no other game goes in and out of my eyes and ears as much as Elden friggin' Ring.
Wow, I have the exact opposite thought.
Okay.
I have not heard anything on this freaking game. Only recently that there potentially could be Elden Ring at the Game Awards.
I'm always shocked at how often I'm hearing about Elden Ring.
Okay.
People really want to fix Game of Thrones, I think, and they're like, "Oh, the real."
It's not
George
going to
R.
be Game
Martin."
of Thrones.
I know.
It's going to be another Dark Souls.
I'm being.
has better lore.
I'm more just saying. Like, I think there's a lot of hype that George R. R. Martin is
No,
in
of
there.
course.
But I just don't get it, and I also don't. I played Demon Souls, and I didn't beat it, and I played Dark Souls and took too long of a break, and I had a lot of fun in the process. But then I went back, and I'm like, yeah, I can't do this.
Out of these games, of what I'm excited for the most, it would oh man, crap, I forgot Resident Evil Village. Oof. It would either be Elden Ring, God of War, and Resident Evil Village. It's the games I'd be interested in.
We saying what? So that's what so if this is a Felipe's most anticipated
it's
game
out of those.
versus
I wouldn't
Elmo's,
be able to choose out of those.
You gotta pick one.
Dang it.
Now,
Probably God of War.
okay. Me personally,
Just because I haven't seen enough of Elden Ring, and that's a complete new IP, whereas God of War is a sequel, and I know what I'm getting from there.
Me personally, I feel like I know, and it's these last three that I would be personally most excited for: God of War, Resident Evil, and Zelda.
Okay.
Resident Evil 3 made me think maybe they don't know as much about how to make Resident Evil work.
Did you play it?
I watched the playthrough.
That's lame. Yeah, play it.
I wanted to. It was the Giant Bomb guys. They did one. I played 2 twice, and then I watched them play through it twice, and watched my brother-in-law play through 2. So I've seen that game 5 times.
Okay.
Technically, no, but he beat it twice as well. I've seen that game 6 times.
Jeez.
But it's awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
And for Resident Evil 3 to not
hit,
I don't understand. I know it came out really soon after 2.
Yeah.
But from what I've heard about 3, from what I've seen from 3 and what I've heard about 8 here, it has me lowering my expectations.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And I love 7.
I don't know how you can look at that trailer for 8 and have any low expectations.
I think story-wise, I've run into info.
You go to Resident Evil for story?
No.
Okay.
But
I mean, I appreciate that
I'm
it's
playing
there.
through 5 right now.
I
with my
love when they
brother-in-law.
say names that I'm like, oh, I know who Wesker is.
Yeah.
But I don't know how that applies to what timeline they're in and all that. So
I'm actually playing through 5 whenever my brother-in-law's in town right now.
5?
Yeah.
Really?
The co-op one with Sheva.
I have that. I have the gold edition of that.
Yeah. So I enjoy some Resident Evil, whether they go actiony or horror, but narrative is important to me.
Okay.
Whether that matters or not, like even 7's, like it didn't have a great narrative, but like I was into Ethan and what he was doing. I don't know Ethan's last name. I'm not even sure if his name is Ethan, but I'm not going to it for story, but that also means it's not my number 1.
Okay.
Because story matters to me.
Right. All right.
So storyline wise,
okay.
Sorry, I'm going for a while, but
Yeah.
storyline wise, God of War, I'm most intrigued.
Right.
But I think Zelda is my most anticipated, just because I'm most curious about what they're gonna do. I can imagine what all these games are gonna be.
Yeah.
I don't know. Nintendo doesn't really do sequels, so if they're gonna do that, I'm most.
2.
If this was most curious,
Super Mario Bros. 2.
It's been a while since they've done a sequel.
Paper Mario 2.
No, that doesn't exist.
Whatever. Just a second.
Breath of the Wild is my most anticipated because I'm most eager to
Do you
see
think that
what
wins?
that is. No, it's Elden Ring, man. Elden Ring's gonna
Really?
win this.
Okay, so you think Elden Ring wins this? I think God of War.
I really
wins
hope
this.
Elden Ring wins so we can have this conversation. Again, it could just be my circles I'm running into. It's not like giant bombs bringing them up or anything, but
I'm doing a little something with
Mm-hmm.
who we choose as the winners.
Okay.
And there's not enough content out for Elden Ring
Just
for
throw
me to
Dark.
do it.
Can you pull up my Dark Souls guy, my lady with the boar helmet and the spear? I'll take a picture. I'll turn on my
That's not
360.
Elden Ring.
I'll turn on my 360 and I'll send you an image.
There's just not enough content of Elden Ring for me to do what I'm going to do. I already have it set for God of War because I thought it would be unanimous, but I can change it.
It's
All
up, dude. I think Elden Ring's got
Okay.
this.
All right.
I'm really excited to see.
Next one. Best game direction.
Awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. The nominees include
Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Half-Life Alyx, and Last of Us Part 2. So there's a pattern here. The top games of the year.
Yeah, and the next one's yeah. So, do you have a clear winner here?
No, because all of these
I feel like
have
actually,
a specific.
Yeah.
All of these
You have
have
a
a
winner here. What are you talking about?
Oh, of course, but all of these have a specific goal in mind, and I feel like they nailed it.
Get rid of ghosts.
Okay,
That's just like Assassin's Creed.
you're right. So get
With
rid of
Japanese
Ghosts. As much as I didn't like the what Final Fantasy VII was doing, the direction's there.
Do you think there is a creative vision going on there? That is what this award is about. And I know we're talking about theories, but some people apparently think it's confirmed.
But it's not. So until it is, you can't say it is.
I don't know. Maybe it is.
I don't think
That's a pretty creative vision, and that is innovating. If so, so it is a worthy contender.
I don't know enough about Half-Life Alyx. I just know that it was a really well done VR experience. But I heard it was a little lackluster story-wise.
We got to be careful what we say about Last of Us here. Like how we phrase why it should be in this category.
What you mean in regards to the two things? The two...
We just got to be careful.
Okay. The thing is with The Last of Us, as fantastic as it is, a lot of people didn't like that specific shift that happens. It's kind of
yeah, when it becomes an
almost
8-bit side scroller, I just was like, "What are you doing, Naughty Dog?"
Yeah. No, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So in regards to that shift, even ultimately people loved the game. Thought it was fantastic. They did think that second sequence went probably longer than it should have, and then so there's that to keep in mind. I personally liked it, but I also agree it was still kind of too long. The second one, not by much.
I will say
on second playthrough, it wasn't.
Same here. But I also was like,
because I already knew what was happening.
I'm going through this. I'm pushing to the end, not rushing, but I'm pushing.
Okay.
Because I decided to go about it differently as well.
Okay.
Knowing what I know.
And then Hades, from what you were just saying, it sounds like they really had that figured out. Like in regards to how they use the genre that it is to its advantage. I don't know. Based on the description, I think Hades got this. I'm sorry. Based on the description of this award and how you describe Hades.
I'm gonna look at the description.
I have yet to play it, but if you described it as well as I think you did, Hades got this.
You're standing up right now. You really.
I have to stretch my legs.
You really agree. You haven't stood up for anything.
I'm doing the slow clap right now. Okay.
So if we're looking at this, Final Fantasy VII, there are points where it did not need to do what it did. There is wasted space. I don't think it wins. Okay. And that's the same argument I can make for Last of Us.
Okay.
I don't think there's any waste. Oh, there's wasted space in Ghosts. And then for them to not capitalize on that moment, no waste in Hades. Okay. There was zero. It is an efficient machine.
Okay.
And
that's what I hear. That's why I agree.
I think it is the winner.
Now, that's what you think. Do you think that's what actually wins, though?
Yeah, I think it's the winner. Okay. Sorry, that's what I meant. I think it is the winner. If it doesn't win, then what is this award, to be honest?
Just your favorite game.
What other game? What other? Maybe the Half-Life, but what other genre? I'm sorry. What other game in this list of nominees makes full use of the genre and uses it to make it better and make me more interested in going back
at
to
that
roguelikes.
point? The way you're saying it,
I want to play
specifically singling out Hades at that point. But I get what you're saying. You're just
I didn't think I was being mysterious there. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No,
I'm more willing. I've looked at the roguelike genre, and my eyes are more willing to jump into it because of Hades.
Okay.
Where none of these other ones do this for me.
Gotcha.
I want to go back into VR so I can play in an X-Wing.
Right.
And it doesn't sound like Half-Life Alyx reached the expectations of what a Half-Life should.
No.
So anything they did, while admirable...
Yeah, but the good thing about that is that was a stealth release. It was like, hey, Half-Life coming out like next week, or wasn't it like a month maybe?
I think it was a month.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Like,
as someone who's not played any Half-Life, I can still appreciate that.
Right. Okay. So we both think Hades will be chosen.
This next one is weird.
Now we get to the
main event.
The main event. Everybody, thank you for sticking out this long. If you waited, maybe you just skipped around. Who knows? The category of Game of the Year.
Recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields. And the nominees include
Animal Crossing's New Horizons, Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghosts of Tsushima, Hades, and Last of Us Part 2. Get Animal Crossings off this list.
Why do you keep saying crossings? It's not plural. You keep saying crossings.
Oh, okay.
You've done that? Oh, I think almost every time.
Yeah.
And I've not said anything because I thought...
So you only crossed once?
Know.
Okay, exactly.
It is, the text is small over there. You've...
No,
don't cut Animal Crossing yet.
No, I know.
Your wife
Doom can get
plays the Switch because of Animal Crossing.
Right. Not as much recently, though. Which shows...
how many months of time?
No, I know. Animal Crossing definitely deserves to be on this list. Doom does not. Get Doom out of here. I love Ghost of Tsushima, but I don't think it should be on here.
I do enjoy a lot of it.
Yeah, it was great, and
I was done with that game though. At points.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And that poor woman screaming, "Help! Save her dog!" I still feel bad about that. I should go and just do that one quest and borrow the game from you and go to do that. But I was like, I'm ready for it.
It's not as satisfying ending. I'll tell you that.
I'm sure.
Anyways, so pretty much it comes down to Animal Crossing, Final Fantasy, Hades, and Last of Us.
I'm gonna make an argument for Animal Crossing and why it deserves it, even though I don't. I'm just doing this because it deserves some merit. So let's see how this sell goes.
Okay.
Which game has sold the most of these?
Animal Crossing.
Which game has sold the most consoles because of its existence?
Animal Crossings.
Which game has been the most discussed in a positive way?
Animal Crossing.
That's a pretty good sell.
It's a good sell. Did it do what it was supposed to the best out of these, though? Because there's a lot of fun stuff in Animal Crossing. You can't do everything with all those items you got. It's just decorations.
I need to complain about Game of the Year. I mean Animal Crossing. They used to be like you could talk to your neighbors and they'd have more to say. They like repeat way more, like that. And everyone goes to Animal Crossing for a different reason. But I like talking to my. I bought a freaking amiibo card this past year just so I could have a certain villager because I liked talking to him in my 3DS Animal Crossing, and I got him and I'm like this. He doesn't.
Much to say.
They don't have much to say. And again, we all go to Animal Crossing. Not we, but everyone goes to Animal Crossing for a little bit of a different reason. But for me, they kind of killed a lot of my motivation. It's just the talking to people. And granted, that's not much gameplay going on, but this would maybe be up. I would still be playing Animal Crossing at least weekly if talking to my neighbors gave me any sense of satisfaction. Okay. Maybe I didn't talk to them enough, but like...
Sounds like you did if you're getting repeats.
It was lame.
Okay.
And I don't understand why they dialed that back. And then the crafting would be fine if I didn't have to mash, which accessibility-wise... You don't have to mash, actually. But accessibility-wise, I will say Last of Us maybe deserves a little more points here.
For Game of the Year?
For Game of the Year, because of that specifically. But
for sure.
Because, again, Last of Us... They didn't have to mash. I just get to hold. it's not as in the moment feeling, like you don't feel good, but I am like, man, my arthritis that I'm gonna have one day is so
The
thankful.
arthritis
right
that
now.
you're gonna have
Yeah.
one day. Gotcha.
But Animal Crossing, I wish it could win.
Yeah, but it won't. You don't think it will?
But it made some mistakes that I personally don't like. But there was the sell. It has done the most at work for me. It is the game I've heard referenced more than any of these by far.
I agree. I've heard Animal Crossing mentioned more than any of these games this year. If we're going off of that alone, first of all, when it comes down to the ones that we actually think are going to win, when it comes to the ones that are real contenders, I think so. Animal Crossing, Final Fantasy, Hades, and Last of Us. Would not be surprised if any of those won over the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
Would not.
Right.
I wouldn't fight it. I'd be like, I get it.
But if Animal Crossing won, you'd be surprised.
No.
Okay.
No, I was gonna say.
I thought you meant of the other.
No, Animal
other
Crossing.
than Doom.
No, yeah, Doom and Ghost. I would be surprised if those win.
Oh, okay.
So I wouldn't. I'd understand the reasons for each of these winning, even though I don't agree with them.
In a year of COVID and negativity, Animal Crossing was a nice bright spot. It came out at the perfect time too.
It sure did. That's it.
I almost feel like I'm leaning more towards it. I don't think it wins, but like, it is a game that if we're thinking about a year of time, it's a strong contender.
Yeah.
There's still more content coming out, and it's not like the game is getting worse in some people's opinions, like an Apex Legends, like that some people would say.
Right.
It is a game that you are more likely to go back to compared to these other 4 or 3 that we're still discussing.
Okay.
I don't think you should cut it from your brain yet.
No, yeah. Once I said that, I was like, yeah, never mind. Last Crossings did a lot.
You're purposely saying that.
It did a lot this year, so I get it.
So you're not going to pick Final Fantasy.
I would not pick Final Fantasy.
But this is...
I personally don't think
not
it deserves...
us. This is them. Like
Correct. I don't even think Game Awards will pick Final Fantasy. I wouldn't be surprised if they do, if that makes sense. But I don't think they will. And I don't think it deserves to win. But, like I said, if I see that come up on the screen, oh, Final Fantasy, like, get it. Nostalgia really helped this right now. And it did it for me.
And that theory.
Huh?
If that theory's true.
Again.
Would you play Remake Part 2?
What?
Would you, if they...
I'd play it.
Okay.
At this point, I'm too deep.
Okay. All right.
I would not rush out. I'd probably wait till you let
you
me
can borrow it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get the special, not the biggest one, whatever, $300, but I'll get like the $80 version or whatever.
Okay. All right. So what is your argument for the other ones?
Like, do you want me to cut or you want me to pro? Anything.
Who do you cut? Besides the 2 that we already cut that we both agreed on.
I think you cut Last of Us.
Get
And
the
you cut
heck out of here.
Listen. I'm gonna just get to the point. You know me. You know I play Final Fantasy VII every single year.
Okay.
You know I was at Best Buy that morning.
I did not know. I wasn't there.
You should know.
I wasn't
was
there.
at Best Buy that morning. I was so overjoyed when they announced this remake.
Okay.
And I was so overjoyed when he was added into Smash.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they did what they did with everything storyline wise, and that they continue to make me even more fascinated in the fiction. I've got this game on my phone, like in terms of music.
Okay.
Like I have freaking Cloud figures in my room.
1. Well, I guess the amiibo too.
No, I have 2. Oh, 3 then.
Oh, okay.
No, 4. There's 2 different amiibos.
Of course there is.
There's the Cloud and the Advent Children Cloud. You know how in love I am with Final Fantasy.
Right. So it
And
pains
I'm
you
ready to
see.
cut it. So imagine how good this game has to be for me to pick Hades. That Final Fantasy I'm willing to cut for. What kind of bigger sell is there?
No,
on
here,
a game?
it's okay. That door. That's what's ruining it for you. I understand.
It's not. There are parts of every one of these games, other than Hades, where I was like, all right, we can move on. There's a part in Final Fantasy, and I think it's because I knew what the next plotline piece was, but the ghost stuff you said was interesting to you. There was like as a writer, I would be
just different. It was like Final
I know, but as a writer, I was like, this is not how you do a story. Like, this is not good writing here all of a sudden. So it has flaws, and there were points where I was like, okay, Last of Us the same, Ghost the same, Animal Crossing the same. I can't say that about Hades. I think it has to win. And it might even, I think it's my game of the year. And this is a year that Final Fantasy VII came out.
Right. That door, man. All right, so I understand.
And the door.
So you think they choose this is what wins?
I think and that was me getting really personal, but how good must the game be?
No, I get it, and I was waiting for you to do that too, because you started talking about how much you love Final Fantasy, and I'm like, this is gonna go either, and this is why this is my game of the year. And I was like, but I feel like he's saying all this to tell me how much better Hades, or not how much better, but that it's better, mm-hmm. and that even all that considered, how much good it'd be, and that's exactly what you said. So I was like, okay.
Did you know going in that that's what did you think I was going to go Final Fantasy?
At first, but as you kept talking, I'm like...
But you knew this argument was going to come in, like, before we started recording.
Oh, yes. Okay. It was going to come... To me, what your choice was going to be Final Fantasy or Hades. Mm-hmm. I knew that going in easily. Because you clearly don't appreciate Last of Us as much as I do. And...
I think appreciate is a interesting term.
Mm-hmm. It's the correct one.
I don't appreciate some of their choices, I guess. So yeah. Even though I'm not mad for the reasons the internet is mad on Last of Us. I'm fine with what they decided to do.
This is a tough one because it's taking what I think out of it and choosing who I think is going to win. I still think it's Last of Us. I still think Last of Us wins this. And as audience, if you couldn't tell, also my choice this year for the game of the year, which we can elaborate future in a future cast. Man, it was just so good, dude. Like, it has everything I personally want in a game. Great characters, great performances from said characters. I think a good story, an interesting way a story was told, not just linear. Gameplay was phenomenal. I mean, the movement that I guess in this case I'll just talk about.
But it's gameplay you were kind of over at points.
No. Always.
We go back to the tape. You agreed there were a little too many combat encounters in Last of Us. That is in our,
I guess so,
debut podcast.
Yeah, but keep in mind, I went back the second time, mm-hmm. and now that I had that knowledge of their minds, to not use it all the first time, it made me change the way. But okay, I'm sure. Yeah,
there is a versatility and fun to the horrible things you can do in that game.
There's a finesse to what your movement is with the character and all the stuff you can do and how it just kind of works the way you would expect it to, that I have yet to see in a third-person action mm-hmm. or shooting game.
But what if there was all that and you tripled your options and then learned to combine those options in ways that you even continue to not predict
terrible.
As good? Like, there in Hades, the way you can compile your powers, and you don't get to directly choose. There's like choices you make, but there's like a list of 50 powers, let's say.
Yeah, and I heard each playthrough you like hit one like on random or like an accident or something. It's like a drop and you pick it up and you change powers.
They give you limited options of those 50, we'll say.
Gotcha.
But the way those combine and blend with each other in ways you never expect, and then ways that you do expect, like what you're saying about Last of Us is in Hades.
I mean, I've seen gameplay for Hades. Yeah, there's different powers, but the traversal's very. I mean, it looks like it's the same thing every single time, from what I could tell.
In terms of you dash when you press Y, yeah, but there's different types of dashes. There's limits to that dash depending on what powers you end up receiving from those Greek gods.
Gotcha. Well, back to what I was saying as to why my reasonings for this. Yeah, that just everything is just fluid. I mean, probably the best looking game I think I've ever seen, ever. Just certain character moments, certain songs, just goosebumps, sadness, genuinely funny moments, stuff that even after you put it down, you're just thinking about and thinking of experiencing it, and it just sticks with you. Certain decisions that were made, or how you would handle that situation differently. What an achievement in gaming, I think. And I know that in our spoiler cast we've discussed how there were certain things that, even though they're doing it now, you're still kind of sad that it took as long to get to this point, and it can still be handled better in the future. But that's ultimately where we're at. This is the first time it gets dealt with certain things, and yeah, I would agree. Some stuff should be better handled, but this is how gaming is evolving, and I think this is the next step in evolution for gaming. Whether you agree with all the choices or not, or if you think we should be further.
What are you talking about, sir?
What I just said.
Okay.
When it comes to,
I wish we could go into spoilers here
of course,
for you to divulge. But everything you're saying, I think that's what Hades does and more.
If there was you thought you go home and you're like, man, how would I escape freaking the underworld? God.
I mean,
no, you don't do that. You don't care about these characters that much.
I specifically cover that in my classroom at one point with Greek mythology, so that's technically something I can say I do in theory.
Okay.
Because that happens in the Odyssey.
You're different.
I am different.
Yeah. Not in a good way. All right, so ultimately what it boils down to, because I assume we can get into this a lot more deeper in a future cast that we have planned, when we discuss what we've played and why we think.
But it sounds like you're getting real personal here.
What do you mean?
Like this is supposed to be what you predict will be chosen.
Yeah, I think other people see that too.
Okay.
And this is, again, what I've heard also.
Okay.
So I think it's the full package of everything. There's not one thing that it does bad. There's not one thing. There's not one thing that is left out that I can think of at the moment, of course, because it's all off the top of my head. This is that I'm like, well, it didn't do this. Like, what didn't it do? Like, I guess, I'm not sure. I mean, I guess there wasn't.
It didn't handle certain topics, I think, well. I think the lack of. I don't know how much we want to get into here, but like the handling of race in that game, stupid. Like it's not good.
I mean, it just depends on where you're at and what the overwhelming race is in that area. I mean,
and my wife likes one character. I'm like, come on, really? You like that person? I was about to say, but I can't even get into that.
Oh, okay.
But like, I think what it does, what it's trying to do, and what it ends up doing, it.
You think they're two different things?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think it nails exactly what it's trying to do.
I think that's how you can describe Hades.
Okay.
And I'll be honest, did we cut Animal Crossing?
Yeah,
we did.
It wasn't said, but based on what we're saying, yeah.
To me, this is Animal Crossing Hades. I guess if we're thinking, hey, these are critics doing it, so they're probably not going to pick Animal Crossing. But if we're talking about like an overall just game of the year, I think Animal Crossing and Hades are the top two. I don't agree that Animal Crossing deserves that spot.
Right. I agree it deserves to be up here and definitely
personally
a contender. Yeah, but no, I don't think it deserves to win. Yeah. You say Hades, I say Last of Us.
And what's your second? What's like
Hades.
your okay?
Hades would be the second to Last of
My
Us.
second is Animal Crossing. From a predictive sense, because personally it'd be Final Fantasy, then Last of Us, Animal Crossing, Ghosts, Doom. From these options.
Gotcha.
And what's your order?
Do you let me just throw one more thing out here, and we
Yeah.
don't have to get too crazy into it. If I had played Hades, right? Let's say I beat it. Let's say I
Mhm.
rolled credits, whatever. Do you honestly think there'd be as much discussion about the game as we have with Last of Us? Keep in mind, Last of Us came out in what, June, July, maybe. In summer.
But Last of Us had
We-
so much negativity around it that is a large percentage of that discussion.
Sure. Okay, but what are we discussing? Why those people with the negativity are stupid, right?
Mhm.
Okay. We're defending a game that should deserve to be defended. And do you honestly think there'd be a conversation like that with Hades if I were to play it? Be honest.
No, because
Boom.
that story was so.
Thank you for joining Educated Discussion, everybody.
There's so
We'll
much.
See you next year.
First of all, it's a sequel, so there's emotional backup there,
Right.
and we talked narrative. How much did we talk about? Like I tried to bring up. I really enjoyed holding X to run in between cabinets and everything. Like, if you want to do a Hades podcast, let's do it. But you would have to play it
Yeah.
to prove this point. I personally think no, but that's because the internet, the vile part of the internet, and the fact that it is a narrative-focused game lends itself to
Do more discussion.
some more discussion.
Okay.
So
Some educated discussion. Some
Yeah.
would say. Gotcha.
But in theory, dude, we talked about. I tell people you and I spoke about Frozen for an hour and a half, and they think we're insane. So in fairness, we can talk about anything and make it interesting.
that's
I
true.
think because we are educated and we're having a discussion.
Yeah.
Is it the best discussion?
That's a good name for a
No.
podcast. Educated discussions.
And no one else has it apparently
Nope.
online. So.
Well,
That's
we're the only
part
ones.
of the reason.
That's good. That's the main reason.
But I think they will pick Hades.
Okay.
You
Like I
think
said,
they'll pick Last of Us?
I think they will pick Last of Us, but I wouldn't be like, what? You know,
Mhm.
like if Hades gets picked.
Same here. What if if they picked Final Fantasy? Would you be like, what?
No, I'd understand it.
What about Animal Crossing? I think that's a little more fun. Huh?
That's more of a
Huh.
okay.
You went there, huh?
The what would be if Doom gets anything.
We've not played Doom.
I have
so
not
it's
played
fair
Doom,
to
but
say
no
that.
one's
Mhm.
someone's talking about Doom.
That's true. If Ghost won, I'd be, what?
Doom came out with a fart. That's unfortunate, and I'm sure it's fantastic, and I hear it is. But it was one of those things where we're like, yeah, it's more Doom.
People love that last one way more than I did. So an inferior version of that,
Yeah,
did nothing to sell me on buying that or trying that game.
that's it.
Yeah, that. Sorry, we spoiled the Game Awards. But guess what? You
Oh my
listened to us for about
gosh.
2 hours.
This is long.
That's half the length of the Game Awards. So why watch the Game Awards when you can get the answers here?
Just watch us in tandem. Like
Mhm.
press start like halfway through it, and we'll
Yeah.
answer everything
Yeah.
as it goes.
And if you got those leaks before you had to watch all the Game Awards, comment the word feat. FEAT. It was a great feat to you accomplished listening to us discuss so educatedly. Is that a word?
Yeah, it is
Okay.
now.
All right. Well, thank you, Felipe, for welcoming me into your home
Yep.
to discuss this. I'm glad we got the mic working in the end.
Yes.
Turn on permissions, folks.
Yeah, turn on permissions for Audacity because, yikes, that delayed us a bit. But anyways, thank you for joining us. Catch you on a flippin' flip. Testing.
Damas y caballeros, welcome to a discussion that just might
About
be
quesadillas and jalapenos.
and Quetzalcoatl, the Mayan Aztec god.
Sure. Okay.
Is he?
He's a god, right?
Oh, we're keeping the Quetzalcoatl?
No, I'll edit that out.
Okay. All right.